Throw the kids away. Throw the kids away. Only do it when I say it, and then we'll all go play. I wake up to that messed up nursery rhyme far too often. After years of therapy and drug use, I would say that it's down to once a week. My name is Bonnie. Well, at least that's what I go by now. I changed my name the day that I turned 18 as a small birthday gift to myself. My original name was Martha, and I had a slight claim to fame that I didn't choose. See, I was the only kid to survive the batshit babysitter. That's usually what she was known as in the tabloids. Some called her the naughty nanny. Others called her home the devil's daycare. I still refer to her as Mrs. Jenny. I refused to give any type of recognition other than what she was. She wasn't a Satanist. She wasn't a demon on earth. She was a rotten piece of shit. She was crazy, unhinged, and deranged. However, the celebrity status she received during the trials was too much. The photos and articles and inspired cults, the copycats, extremist groups to spew vulgar rhetoric at the mainstream press. I understand that people always have and always will be messed up, but I've never understood how anybody could have taken Mrs. Jenny's side. I had to go through middle school and high school with my birth name, and to this day I'm not sure how exactly I did it. I'm not sure if people thought I was a myth or an urban legend, but they sure as hell acted like it. A typical first day of class for me was the teacher whispering my name, as if it would offend God by saying it out loud. Some loser in the back of the room would always say, "Whoa, no way," in the most unintelligent way imaginable. Some kids would crane their neck and try to see if it was really me. All the while I sunk down in my chair. I hated the attention. I hated the way that everybody would ask me, like, "Are you the real Martha Landon?" Yes, you ignorant shit. It's me. The sole survivor of the devil's daycare. Present and ever ready to move the hell on. Luckily, by the time I got to about my sophomore year of high school, most people either didn't give a shit about me or they already knew who I was. That's the nice thing about the whirlwind style of the media, combined with the goldfish level memory of most people. Once the media stops having a carousel of fluff pieces and meaningless attention grabbers for headlines, people stop really caring. Every now and then, if Miss Jenny's sentence was updated, I would feel the eyes a bit more throughout the hallways. Especially on the anniversary of the day, which was essentially my Halloween. Once a year, I had to parade around dodging the questions from people asking if I still remember what happened, or if I still get scared of her. As I got older, my answers became more sarcastic, mostly because they were asking stupid questions. Of course I remembered what happened. It wasn't something that you just forgot because of therapy or time. Despite what the shitty internet inspiration boards say, time does not heal all wounds. Time is not some magical eraser that makes the bad things go away. Time allows the body to try to heal. But if you aren't strong enough, the wound will fester and infect the rest of your body, leaving you permanently damaged. Leaving you in a state I was destined to be in for the rest of my life. I know what you're saying. Bonnie, get to the point. What happened? Okay, I got it. This isn't a memoir. It's an interview, but whatever. You can't jump right into Devil's Daycare without explaining the setting. You know, truly immersing yourself into the securities that all of us kids felt each day at Miss Jenny's house. Miss Jenny was a lovely young woman. She was maybe in her mid-20s, I would guess 26 or 27. She had long and beautiful white blonde hair. Her eyelashes looked like black butterflies on her eyes. She smelled like the ocean as well. The aura that she gave off was intoxicating, not only to us little kids but to our parents as well. You see, she was somebody who had graduated college with a teaching degree, had all of the necessary certifications and whatever she needed. However, in the downswing of 2008, she hit a rough patch. The guy that she had been dating had disappeared. The nursery that she had been working at closed, and poor Miss Jenny was left with a small house, no spouse, and no job. She started posting flyers all over town that she was starting an at-home nursery. She was charging less than what the nursery in town had been, which allowed parents to save some money but also allowed Miss Jenny to make enough to support herself. The idea was a win-win for the town. She started offering split-day services, early morning drop-offs, late pickups, the whole 9 yards. She was able to stay busy yet stay making money in a tough time. Everything was moving flawlessly. My parents needed Miss Jenny only 3 days a week, due to my mom being able to work on one night and be completely off on Thursdays. There was a point where I was sad on Thursdays because I couldn't see Miss Jenny or my friends. We would sing songs, have story time, play in the backyard doing different types of games. Miss Jenny had a high fence in her backyard, so kids could run all the way into the back of her yard and race to the front, without her needing to worry about people getting lost. The only danger zone of her backyard was this large decorative well house. She explained to the parents that there was not a hole, it was just a fake decoration that reminded her of her childhood. To ensure that no kid could get hurt, she had a large circular cover over the hole in the well. Most of the time, kids used it as a home base when playing tag, or any other variation of the game. One day, Miss Jenny sent all of the kids home with a flyer, asking all of the kids to come for a small birthday celebration on a Saturday in the summer. She explained in the note to the parents that she could not afford to throw parties for each kid's individual birthday. So this was her solution to have everybody over for one big party, filled with games and extra treats. As most parents saw this as an opportunity of a free day with other kids, and they all obliged. The birthday fest came and around 40 kids showed up. There was a large dumpster in the backyard near the well, which caused all sorts of panic for some kids, who were worried that the home base would be destroyed. Miss Jenny assured us that the base was going to be rebuilt with new wood, so it would be better than ever. The dumpster is for when the builders would come to fix it. Then nothing would happen and the day would be perfect. We had morning snacks, played a few of our favorite games. Some kids had to be introduced because some of the early morning kids didn't know the late afternoon crowd and so forth. After we had all started to get along seamlessly, it was time for the day's big event, as Miss Jenny called it. She taught us a new chant. She wrote the words on her big white board in the living room and started handing out blindfolds for everybody. The board said, "Throw the kids away. Throw the kids away. Only do it when I say, and then we'll all go play." She kept repeating the phrase in a fun, cheery melody, and the kids started to slowly catch on. We were all singing along when she brought out the day's final treat, which was a big plate of her heavenly cookies that every kid raved about. However, I was incredibly allergic to chocolate, so I never ate her cookies. I tried once, but I got sick, so I stayed away from them entirely. After she gave the cookies out, she said that it was important that nobody eat them unless they were told. I quickly whispered to my friend Rachel next to me to ask her if she would eat my cookie for me, which she quickly agreed to do so. Miss Jenny told us that we needed to put our blindfolds on and sing the song 6 times through, and after that we could all eat the cookies. There were 40 kids in Miss Jenny in her living room. We put our blindfolds on. She helped a couple of the younger kids who were struggling, and then she started clapping and singing the words. "Throw the kids away. Throw the kids away. Only do it when I say and we'll all go play. Throw the kids away. Throw the kids away. Only do it when I say and we'll all go play. Throw the kids away. throw the kids away. Only do it when I say and we'll all go play. On the 6th run through, I slipped my cookie to Rachel. The chanting stopped except for Miss Jenny, as the kids stuffed their treats in their mouths and hurried along to keep singing with her. Slowly the clapping stopped, the singing became muffled, and the kids started to go to sleep. Since I didn't know if it was a part of the game, I quickly slumped over and I laid on the ground, and being extra careful not to move or make a sound. I heard Miss Jenny walking around. I heard her open her back door and come back to our room. I kept hearing her walk back and forth, singing her song, with the pep of her usual self. After about 20 minutes, she picked me up. I tried my hardest to pretend like I was sleeping. She carried me outside and she laid me down on top of the other kids, almost like we were all in one big pile. Still, everybody was quiet, so I dared not to move or ruin the game. Kids started being put on top of me as well, and after about another 20 minutes, I heard a loud metal clang. I became impatient and I took off my blindfold, which barely helped. Wherever I had been put was nearly pitch black, except for a small beam of sun coming from the ceiling. I tried to feel around, but I couldn't tell where I was. I started to ask the other kids where they were or what they were doing. However, I got no responses. I stumbled over kids, trying to get to a wall, which I eventually found. There was a dusty metal feel to it, and the inside of the container started to get extremely hot. I was sweating and starting to cry. At that point, I turned to move backwards, but I tripped and smacked my head on either another kid's head or a wall. Either way, everything went fuzzy and I couldn't tell up from down. I couldn't stand up. All I could do was feel how much hotter I was getting. Eventually, I passed out, either from the heat or the head injury. The next thing I knew, I was in the hospital with my parents next to me. There were needles, crying, and people I had never seen before. Most of it was far too much for a 6-year-old to understand. My parents wouldn't tell me until I was about 14 on what really happened to me. What really happened in the Devil's Daycare. However, after fully researching the case on my own and after I changed my name, I found out that some important facts had indeed been left out from what my parents had told me. Miss Jenny was not even the real Miss Jenny. Jennifer Hearing was a missing female from the East Coast, a teacher for elementary students with a real passion for children and helping the world. That was Jennifer Hearing, who was found dead in the trunk of a car in Cleveland. She had been scalped and all of her fingers were cut off. The autopsy determined that she died from a combination of starvation, heat stroke, and organ failure, which means that she was alive when she had been scalped and her fingers removed, and then stuffed in a trunk. The boyfriend of our Miss Jenny was found suspended in her basement. Strips of flesh had been removed from his back and used to gag him. He had also been drained entirely of the blood in his body. 2 more bodies were found in the basement that could not be identified. All that had been left was the skin stretched across the walls. The kids that day were poisoned with cyanide in their cookies. Experts determined that some had died of heart failure from the poisoning, while some died from the heat in the dumpster. Miss Jenny had put a black piece of sheet metal over the dumpster, which created an internal temperature of around 180 degrees on that hot June day. I was found in critical condition. My survival was due to the fact that my body functions were not degraded by the cyanide in the cookies. One of the parents had come to pick up their daughter early, and when she could not get an answer, she walked into the house. Miss Jenny was long gone by that point. The parents looked all over the house for the kids and did eventually find them, with potentially only minutes to spare for my life. Miss Jenny was picked up 2 weeks later when she was caught with expired plates in the next state over. She was found at a rest stop sleeping in the car. There was blood on her hands, some of the children's DNA under her nails and on her clothes. The case was open and then closed. She had been sentenced before I'd ever been called as a witness. I'm not a lawyer, but I thought that since I was a sole survivor, that I would have been asked to be a witness. But maybe they deemed that a small kid shouldn't go through that trauma again. I can still smell that dumpster at night when I wake up. The mixture of urine and shit from the kids' bodies releasing their bowels, combined with the slow roast happening inside of the dumpster. That smell has ruined my sense of smell and therefore taste for the rest of my life. I'm still terrified of the dark and I still will not accept food from strangers. I just recently started being able to eat out at restaurants again. But this isn't why I'm here. It's not why I'm being interviewed. You really want to know why I do not support the death sentence for Miss Jenny? Why I do not think she should be extended in her sentence? I'll tell you why. I want that lady released because that isn't Miss Jenny. That lady that has been serving in jail isn't the one that had tried killing me and did kill all of those other kids. DNA tests placed that lady at the scene, and there was undeniable truth that she in fact did it. I know that she is innocent for a fact because Miss Jenny had a tattoo on her wrist. The lady behind bars has 0 tattoos. Miss Jenny had a tattoo that said Martha in fancy cursive letters. She showed me this because her mother's name was Martha. I know that Miss Jenny is still out there. Sometimes I can smell the ocean when a woman walks past. Sometimes I see the white blonde hair in a crowd of people. The lady in prison serving time is batshit crazy, no doubt. She probably needed to be in jail for something, but she didn't murder those kids. Miss Jenny planted that lady there and took off yet again. She could be teaching at your kid's school right now for all you know. Or maybe she's circling back to get me. Either way, she isn't going to stop until all the kids are thrown away.